Today we make it back to beautiful and historical Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia. As we make our way through the cemetery, we see historic monuments, eerie crypts, and several ties to our nation's beginning. In the President's Circle section of Hollywood Cemetery, we find the final resting place of two former presidents of the United States of America. When a president passes, generally their casket is adorned with the American flag, and there is a sense of grandeur and ceremony associated with it. What if I told you about a former president in which that didn't happen? As a matter of fact, Washington, D.C. didn't recognize his passing at all. Let me explain. Today we visit the grave of the 10th President of the United States, John Tyler. When I visited the former president, I had no idea of the controversial legacy and complicated history that he left behind. Tyler was born March 29, 1790. He was born into an affluent family in Virginia. When he became of age and began to make waves in the political scene, the political landscape was a mess. Let's set the stage. It's the 1820s and the United States is experiencing some serious growing problems. The only political party at the time was known as the Democratic-Republican Party, and it split into two sides basically, the Democratic Party and the Whig Party. Tyler was initially a Democrat, but he became critical of the Democratic president, Andrew Jackson. This led to an alliance with the Whig Party. Tyler, having already served as a governor of Virginia, a member of the House of Representatives and U.S. Senate, was a two-time vice presidential nominee and became vice president to William Henry Harrison. It was a very short time later that Tyler set a precedent that still stands today. When a president dies while in office, it is immediately assumed that the vice president ascends to the office. This wasn't always the case, as some people would argue that the Constitution only allows them to be a placeholder until a special election is held. William Henry Harrison died 1 month after taking office. At this time, John Tyler immediately took the oath of office without any congressional debate. He was now the president. Although he did sign some Whig Party bills into law, he began vetoing a lot of the bills that the Whigs found important. This caused a large divide with the party, and most of his cabinet resigned. They actually started calling him his accidency. He was able to get some good foreign policy achievements in his presidency, but his popularity was so low within the Whig Party that some attempted an unsuccessful impeachment. And now let's take a look into his death and why it was not recognized by Washington, and why some folks consider John Tyler a traitor to his country. And for historians, I know this is a touchy subject. I have read and studied a lot about this and have found some strong feelings on either side. When political upheaval reached massive heights, when our country had deep divisions over states' rights and slavery, the South seceded from the Union and the Civil War was on. John Tyler, former U.S. president, actually sided with the Confederacy. Not only did Tyler join the Confederacy, he was successfully elected to the Confederate House of Representatives, but passed away from a stroke before the first meeting of the Congress could take place. And just with that piece of information right there, there's a lot to unpack here, and you can see why some people referred to him as a traitor. But the stance of my cemetery channel here has always been this: history is history, and I do my best to tell it with accuracy and don't give opinions, for better or worse. The good thing about history is that we can study it, learn from it, and it never changes. What happened, happened. And as far as being here today in Hollywood Cemetery, this is an absolutely beautiful place. One of the favorite cemeteries of mine that I have ever been in. Just so much history. And it is an amazing place to visit. So if you ever get the chance, and there's so much legend and lore here, so much history, and just the sheer beauty and scenery. I mean, it's a beautiful place right on the river. So I especially enjoyed the President's Circle section up here. I do like presidential history, so this is a great place to go. But John Tyler, I learned a lot about him, a lot of things I didn't know. I did not know that he joined the Confederacy. I mean, I found that almost unbelievable, but it's amazing what you can find when you take the time to research and look into things. So I would love to know, first of all, did you know that John Tyler was associated with the Confederacy. Have you ever heard of John Tyler? There's probably some people out there who had never heard of him because he is one of the most, I won't say unpopular, but just one of the most least known presidents out there. And believe it or not, he still has a living grandson. Now, you do the math on that, and I would encourage you to look that up because that story is unbelievable in and of itself, that, you know, a man that was born in 1790 still has a living grandson. So you may want to check that out. Just another piece of John Tyler history. So leave me a comment below. I do my best to reply to all of those. Visit me at whitdocs.com. I will be doing a blog entry on my Whitdocs Thoughts section about this visit. And on whitdocs.com, you can have links to my Facebook page, my Instagram, my merchandise. Everything is right there, kind of a one-stop shop, whitdocs.com. Thank you all for watching. Comment below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll do my best to reply to every comment. Once again, from Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia, I will see you again soon.